Did you know that Japanese students clean their own schools? Yes, you heard that right. Welcome to our exploration of 23 school rules in Japan that might leave you astounded. Japan, a land of cherry blossoms, sushi, and an education system that might seem a little unusual to the uninitiated. The Japanese education system is known for its rigorous academics, but today, we're not here to talk about the textbooks and the tests. No, we're going to delve into the fascinating world of school rules, those unique codes of conduct that govern the day-to-day lives of Japanese students. Take a moment to think about your school days. Remember those janitors who swept the hallways, wiped the blackboards, and took out the trash? Well, in Japan, students play a significant role in these tasks. Yes, one of the most surprising rules is that students clean their own schools. From scrubbing the floors to cleaning the toilets, students take turns to keep their schools spick and span. It's a practice that instills a sense of responsibility, teamwork, and respect for their surroundings. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's a whole list of rules that might seem unbelievable to many of us. Some of these rules are bound to leave you scratching your head, while others might make you wish your school had implemented them. From hairstyles to lunchtime rituals, from the way students commute to school to how they spend their free time, these rules cover every aspect of a student's life. They paint a picture of a system that's focused not just on academic excellence, but also on building character and fostering a sense of community. So, buckle up, folks. We're about to embark on a fascinating journey through the corridors of Japanese schools, exploring those 23 unbelievable rules that govern the lives of students. Get ready to dive into a world of surprising and unique school rules. You might find yourself wishing your school followed some of these. At number 23, we have the rule that Japanese students cannot be late for school. No excuses accepted. This is no exaggeration. Punctuality is taken very seriously in Japanese schools. A student's tardiness is seen as a reflection of their character and respect for others. It's not just about being on time. It's about the discipline and commitment it instills in the students. Even if you've missed your bus, you better start running. Moving on to Rule 22, it may surprise you to hear that most Japanese schools do not employ janitors or cleaners. Why, you may ask? Because the students themselves are responsible for cleaning their classrooms and shared spaces. This practice is known as osoji, and it's more than just a means to keep the school tidy. It's a method of instilling a sense of responsibility, respect for one's surroundings, and teamwork in the students. Last, but certainly not least, Rule 21 might sound a bit peculiar to some. In many Japanese schools, students are prohibited from wearing brightly colored underwear. This may sound a bit intrusive, but there's a reason behind it. The most common school uniform in Japan is a white blouse or shirt, and brightly colored underwear can be visible through the white fabric. To maintain modesty and uniformity, schools implement this rule. But it's not just about the rules. It's about the values they instill in the students: punctuality, responsibility, teamwork, respect for one's surroundings, and modesty. They may seem strict, but these values go beyond the school gates, shaping the students into disciplined and responsible citizens. So, there you have it. Rules 23 to 21 of Japanese schools. Some may seem strict, others unusual, but they all serve a purpose in shaping the attitudes and behaviors of the students. And remember, these are not just rules, they are lessons for life. Imagine not being able to be late for school, even if you missed your bus. Sounds pretty strict, doesn't it? Moving on to rule number 20. Did you know that Japanese students are not allowed to wear makeup or dye their hair? That's right, no bright eyeshadows or lipstick hues to be seen here. The focus is on natural beauty and uniformity. This rule is designed to deter distractions and maintain equality among the students. It's also a nod to traditional Japanese values of simplicity and modesty. Coming in at rule number 19, students must clean their own classrooms. You heard me right. There's no janitorial staff to sweep up after lunch or tidy up the library. Students take turns doing various cleaning tasks, fostering a sense of responsibility and respect for their surroundings. It's a daily lesson in teamwork and cleanliness, instilled from a young age. Now let's talk about rule number 18. Can you believe there's no substitute teachers in Japan? If a teacher is absent, students are expected to study independently in their classroom. It's a trust-based system that encourages self-discipline and self-study, giving students the freedom to manage their own learning. For rule number 17, you might be surprised to hear that Japanese students have a strict dress code, even for their underwear. White is the only acceptable color. This might seem overly meticulous, but it's another way the schools promote uniformity and equality among students. Finally, we arrive at rule number 16. Japanese students are not allowed to bring any personal electronics to school, including mobile phones. This rule is in place to ensure that students focus on their studies, free from the distractions of social media or video games. So, there you have it. From makeup bans to self-led cleaning and study, these rules might seem stringent by some standards. Yet, they speak volumes about the values embedded in Japanese education. It seems like Japanese schools value simplicity and uniformity more than individual expression when it comes to appearances. Rule number 15 is another interesting one. Japanese students are required to eat the same lunch as their classmates. This rule isn't about uniformity as much as it is about community. Sharing the exact same meal creates a sense of unity and equality among students. It also reduces the chances of food envy and the social stratification that can come with it. Moving on to rule number 14. Did you know that in Japan, students can't bring electronic devices to school? Yes, you heard right. No smartphones, no tablets, nothing of the sort. This rule is in place to ensure that students remain focused on their studies and aren't distracted by the digital world. Next, rule number 13. Japanese schools have a strict no makeup and no jewelry rule. This might seem harsh, but the reasoning behind it is simple. The school environment is for learning, not for flaunting wealth or beauty. At number 12, we have the rule that students must clean their own classrooms. In Japan, the students take turns to sweep the floors, clean the chalkboards, and even scrub the bathrooms. It's not a punishment, but a part of their education. It teaches them responsibility, respect for their environment, and the value of hard work. Finally, rule number 11. Japanese students are expected to greet their teachers whenever they see them, not just in the classroom, but also outside school. This is a way of showing respect to their educators and acknowledging their role in the students' lives. So there you have it, 5 more fascinating rules that Japanese students live by every day. Eating the same lunch as your classmates, regardless of your preferences. That's a rule we're not sure would go over well everywhere. We're now at the top 10. And rule number 10, no cell phones in Japanese schools. Yes, you heard it right. In Japan, students are not allowed to bring cell phones to school. This rule is not just to prevent distraction in class, but also to encourage face-to-face interaction among students. It promotes a sense of unity and togetherness, something that's held in high regard in Japanese culture. Moving on to rule number 9, students must clean their classrooms and corridors. Now, you might be thinking, where are the janitors? Well, in Japan, students take turns doing the cleaning. This practice teaches them responsibility, respect for their environment, and the importance of cleanliness, all while fostering teamwork. Next is rule number 8. Students must serve lunch. In most Japanese schools, there's no cafeteria. Instead, students eat in their classrooms. But here's the twist. They also serve the meals. From setting tables to dishing out food, students do it all. This rule is another way to instill responsibility and cooperation among students. Rule number 7. No makeup or nail polish in school. This may seem restrictive, but it's all about maintaining uniformity and preventing distractions. Japanese schools focus on the principle of equality, and this rule is a part of that philosophy. And finally, we arrive at rule number 6. Students must participate in club activities. After school, students in Japan don't just head home. Instead, they participate in various club activities, from sports to arts, science to literature. This rule aims to promote a balanced lifestyle, encouraging students to explore their interests and develop new skills. So, there you have it, rules 10 through 6. Each one is unique and has its purpose, contributing to the harmony and discipline that Japanese schools are known for. No cell phones in school? Now there's a rule many teachers worldwide would love to implement. And now we've reached the top 5. Brace yourself for some truly surprising rules. Rule 5. Cleaning the school. Yes, you heard right. There are no janitors in Japanese schools. Students are responsible for keeping their own classrooms and hallways clean. It's a practice that instills a sense of responsibility and respect for their surroundings. Talk about learning life skills. Rule 4. No PDAs, not even hand-holding. Public displays of affection are a big no-no in Japanese schools. This is to maintain a formal and respectful atmosphere within the school. Lovebirds, you'll have to keep your affections under wraps until the bell rings. Rule 3. Mandatory school lunch. Now, this might sound like a dream come true for some, but in Japan, it's a rule. All students are required to eat the same school-provided lunch, with the aim of promoting healthy eating and a sense of community. No packed lunches or fast food here. Rule 2. The school uniform. Uniforms are a big deal in Japan, not just as a way to identify students, but also to promote discipline and unity. The uniform must be worn correctly at all times, even the correct way to fold the sleeves. So, fashion rebels, you might need to tone it down a notch. And the number 1 rule? Japanese students must show respect to their teachers at all times. Disrespect is not tolerated. This goes beyond just listening in class. Students are expected to bow to their teachers, showing a deep sense of respect and gratitude for their guidance. These rules might seem strict to some, but they shape the students into respectful, disciplined, and community-oriented individuals. And isn't that what education is all about? So the next time you find yourself in a Japanese school, don't forget to bow, keep your affections to yourself, have your uniform on point, enjoy the school lunch and pick up that broom. And the number 1 rule? Japanese students must show respect to their teachers at all times. Disrespect is not tolerated. That was quite a journey through some of the most surprising school rules in Japan. We've traversed the realm of the unexpected and the unusual, from the rule that insists students must wear white underwear to the one that requires them to clean their own classrooms. It's been a whirlwind of fascinating tidbits that reveal just how different the Japanese school system is. Let's take a moment to reflect on some of the most surprising rules. Remember Rule 23, the one that bans hair dye and insists that students keep their hair natural? It's a rule that might seem strange to some, but it's rooted in a desire to promote equality and to discourage vanity and competitiveness. Then there's Rule 16, the one that insists on students cleaning their own classrooms and schools. This one might seem like an undue burden to place on students, but it's actually a reflection of the Japanese value of respect for one's surroundings and the belief in shared responsibility. It teaches students to value the spaces they use daily and to not take them for granted. And who could forget Rule 6, the one that bans students from bringing technology to school? In a world that's increasingly digital, this rule might seem counterintuitive, but it's in place to encourage face-to-face interaction and to keep the focus on learning, not on screen time. These rules, as surprising as they may be, are not arbitrary. They are reflections of the values, beliefs, and culture of Japan. They promote equality, respect, responsibility, and focus on education. They might be different from what we're used to, but they serve their purpose in the context of Japanese society. But remember, these rules don't exist in isolation. They are part of a broader system, a culture that values discipline, respect, and the pursuit of knowledge. And while they might seem unique, they are simply one aspect of the rich tapestry that is Japan. So there you have it, an unexpected journey through the world of Japanese school rules. It's been a fascinating exploration, one that's revealed the unique nature of the Japanese school system. And it served as a reminder that there is no one-size-fits-all approach to education. Different cultures have different rules, different values, and different ways of doing things. Whether you're fascinated by these rules or glad they don't apply to you, one thing's for sure: school in Japan is a unique experience. Thanks for joining us on this exploration of Japanese school rules. Until next time, keep learning and keep exploring.